swine dribbling onto the floor. Decaying flesh. Mortality, nothing. No sound, just a brief pinprick of light extinguished into darkness for eternity. Maggots crawling through the eye sockets and maggots crawling through eye sockets. Nothing but dried blood and just a faint smell. It's the end. It's over.
Yes, what my colleague is trying to say is that this is the last in the current series of A Bit of Fry and Laurie. He's sorry it's over, and he's very grateful to you for allowing him into his home.
That's right. It's a very nice home. Thank you very much. I love what you've done with it. I think you're right to leave the coffee table where it is. If it is a coffee table, some of you prefer a tea table, I know. Whatever.
Whatever. This is, as I say, the last in the current series of Fry and Laurie, and last shows traditionally at the BBC are allowed 2 bottles of champagne-style fluid to be distributed unequally amongst the audience. My colleague, would you care to do the honours?
Certainly will.
There's a mean streak inside you, isn't there?
It's actually quite a mean streak, yes.
Yes, a very wide one.
Yes, hardly room for my body, either side of it.
However, that's enough verbal rimming for the moment. Time now to introduce our most very honoured guest-style units onto the show. And, you know, first out of the guest box is a woman of great distinction. She served for 12 years in the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in Iraq's elite Republican Guard, before pitching her tent in the Vale of Tharkston, where she makes some of the most revolting marmalade I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please make a clapping-style noise for Janine Duvitsky? Janine, you look old, tired, badly dressed and in a hell of a state generally. How do you feel?
Fine, thank you, Stephen.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
Janine, there's something I've been absolutely dying to ask you, ever since I heard you were coming on the show. What's Tommy Steele really like?
Tommy Steele?
I believe that's what I said.
I don't know. I've never met him.
I'm sorry?
I've never met Tommy Steele.
Yes, well, never mind about it.
No, hold on. I want to get this straight. You're saying you've never met Tommy Steele?
No.
Unbelievable.
Well, no time for recriminations, Hugh. We'll look to the future.
Oh, is there one?
Get on with it.
Right, OK. Well, it now falls to me to pull open the drawer marked Socks, Underpants and International Superstars and pull out our next guest. He's a man of distinction, 3 times winner of the Benson & Hedges smoking competition. He's got 3 convictions for shoplifting and 17 for aggravated assault, as well as a huge collection of skin. It is, of course, Robert Dawes. Oh.
Robert, it's lovely to have you with us.
Now, tell me, have you met Tommy Steele?
No.
Why not?
I don't know, I just never have.
I don't know, I just never have.
Yes, well, never mind.
Jesus!
Right, well, with the time fast approaching Crewe Junction and the driver dead, the brake hoses rotted through by years of government neglect, it's time to pack our comedy tote bags, bung a couple of condoms into the hip pocket and head for Sketch Lab. Tony Racklin is headmaster of Lanark Primary School in Thurlow. The school has 84 pupils of mixed race, religion, gender and shoe size.
If you don't do that, cheers, mate.
So how does he deal with religious instruction at the school's morning assembly?
We worship you, oh God, oh gods, whoever you may be. We realise that you operate supernaturally. We thank you for the birds and bees, for creatures live or dead. But if you actually don't exist, then ignore what we've just.
Well, what I've tried to do, well, what we've tried to do, I should say, is to develop a religious agenda that serves the needs of the kids in a very real sense. You must understand that we've got here, we've got Jewish kids, we've got Buddhist kids, Hindu kids, Muslim kids, Christian kids, atheistic kids, agnostic kids. What they've all got in common is that they're all
Kids?
Exactly. Now, that's very important. So, obviously, any religious package that we offer must take account of all those differences under a basic overarching umbrella.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened there. So, how do you manage this, in fact? How have you accommodated all these different...
OK. What we've done is to sweep away all the old divisions, and basically invent an entirely new religion.
A new religion?
That's right. It's a kind of religious Esperanto, if you like.
Nope, I don't think I do.
Right, well, we've called this religion Lip Whip Whip Whip.
Lip, whip, whip, whip. And that's the name of your god, is it?
No. There is no one single god in Lip Whip Whip Whip.
So it's a pantheon, is it?
I prefer to call it a committee. It's a committee of gods. There are 8 voting members and a non-executive chair who rotates every 4 years.
And what do you worship in Lip Whip Whip Whip?
Okay. We worship air. We worship flexible workshare schemes. And we worship rounded corners on the place.
Why rounded corners?
Well, they're a very important symbol in Lip Whip Whip. Luke, probably not a good idea. Cheers, mate. They're a very important symbol. The kids here worship the one on the activity table in the art room.
Would you say then that Lip Whip 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 has been a success?
I'll be as frank as I can. We've had some problems, I'm afraid.
Oh!
Yeah. Just yesterday, there was a kid in Mrs. Tremolow's 2 APCV XVW class. Tristram. Funny kid. He decided to form a sect that worshipped oblong surfaces.
Dear.
Yeah, come on then, Triss. I'm very disappointed. What are you? You're a heretic. Okay, now, everybody, what do we think about this? What should we do with Triss? Okay. All right, then, that's settled. Triss, we're going to burn you in the playground during morning break. Now then, Anna, what's all this about you being a witch?
See these? We plant one of these in about, late July. Bit of water, bit of compost, bit of love. And, about 6 months later, you've got a 9-lane motorway running through your back garden.
Yes, I always remember this spot because it was right here. This was the very first time that I saw my wife. I was standing absolutely here, and I remember thinking, what an incredibly tiny woman she was. Absolutely tiny. She was about that size. Tiny little thing. It was only weeks later, as I got to know her, that I realised that was, of course, because she was a long way away.
Things they say, eh? The things they say. My youngest, she said to me the other day, she said, Daddy, why are there wars? Why do people kill each other and fight? I said, Rebecca, darling, shut your face and watch the video or I'll belt you one.
Basically, I go around schools, I'll sit in with the kids, because I'm trying to learn French. You going to start then, Richard?
Probably better if I start, Nick, yes. That way we can thresh out a position in broad terms and then we'll know where we stand.
That'll be the best way.
I think so, Nick, I really do.
Go you on, then.
Well, the position is that my client wishes in broad terms.
Broad terms?
Broad terms at this stage, Nick, yes. I think we can thresh out specifics later. My client wishes to engage in a bout of protracted sexual intercourse with your client.
Yeah, can I just chip in here, Richard?
Chip away, chip
Probably
away.
going to save a bit of time if I tell you that my client is keen to proceed along the lines of the standard pre-coital agreement with just 1 or 2 riders and emendations.
Well, in that case, my client is very anxious to expedite matters as swiftly as possible.
Yeah, how swiftly would that be, Richard?
Well, my client was thinking in terms of along the next half hour.
Yes, my client would like it clearly understood that she's not easy.
Yes, my client is fully aware that your client is not easy, Nick. In fact, he wishes me to stress that he has enormous respect for your client as a woman in a variety of personal, non-sexual ways.
Yeah. My client is reassured by your client's position, and I'd like to know how your client intends to proceed.
Well, my client was thinking in general terms of dinner at the Bombay Brasserie, after which, at some mutually agreeable time, he would like to put his tongue inside your client's mouth and move it around slightly.
That is broadly acceptable.
My client then suggests putting a hand up your client's skirt and having a bit of an old feel.
Which hand would that be, Richard?
My client has not yet decided on the hand. Nick.
Okay, well, that's fine. If you just fax us with that when you get...
No problem. Fax, Nick. Which hand up skirt?
I should say that after your client has put his hand up my client's skirt, my client reserves the right to moan slightly.
I don't see a problem there. No, that's fine.
Good. Well, at this point, my client will suggest that your client drives my client back to your client's flat, where your client will play some James Taylor.
My client doesn't have any James Taylor at this stage, but he wonders if Art Garfunkel might be an acceptable combination.
My client has indicated that Art Garfunkel is definitely not acceptable, but would be prepared to consider Tom Waits.
Excellent, excellent. My client would now like to insert He would now like to insert a clause allowing him to spill wine on your client's blouse, which he's then able to mop off gently with a handkerchief, allowing him to brush your client's breast lightly as he does so.
Yes, we feel that in the interests of both parties, a white wine spritzer should be specified.
Wine spritzer it is. My client wonders whether your client is able to accommodate...
Yes?
Able to accommodate a gentle circular licking motion around the upper body.
Perfectly acceptable. To gaze at the ceiling and say the words, oh God, and yes.
Oh, God. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fine. Well, I think a move to the bedroom seems to be indicated.
Indeed. I should point out, however, that my client is keen that this engagement should run along orthodox lines from here on in.
Ah. Would that preclude the use of salad items?
I'm afraid so.
Well, in that case, my client feels that matters can be brought to a satisfactory conclusion in 3 minutes.
Well, now, my client feels that that would be premature. We think 2 minutes is more acceptable.
What say we compromise with 6?
6? All right, 6 minutes. I think hereafter we're back on standard contract territory. I assume your client will then roll over and turn his back on my client?
Oh, my client will most certainly do so. Yes, your client will then attempt to hold him and he will behave coldly towards her.
Quite so. My client will feel spurned and shamed as your client refuses to share the afterglow.
Yes, my client will sneak into his clothes at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work early, leaving no note for your client.
My client will feel immensely rejected and angry at this.
My client will pick up the phone once during the afternoon but fail to go through with the call, after which he'll never be in touch again.
My client will, from hereafter, refer to your client as that bastard.
If my client meets your client at the party, he will blush, look away.
Precisely so. I think that's all satisfactory.
Yes, indeed. If your client would like to sign the bottom here.
Yes, and client will sign here. Have you got a pen? Here we go.
And could you initial the Tom Waits clause for me?
Excellent.
Thank you.
So much. Good. Nice people.
Very nice people.
Nice people, yes. Fancy a steamy sex romp?
Yes, please.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me,